Last but not least, we got my remaining comics that I purchased back in 2016 when my channel was quote-unquote inactive. Check it out and see what we got. Hello, comic book lovers. This is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics. And today, I'm going to show the remainder of the comic books that I purchased back in 2016 when I decided to take a little break from my We Love Comics channel. So, there's a lot of key books that I got, so I don't know if I saved the best for the last. I guess that will be up to you to decide. And before I start showing them, I want to remind people, or let people know if this is your first video you've ever seen of mine, at the end of each video, at the very end, I always do a shout out. So if you're a subscriber to my channel and you comment often, you will most likely get a shout out. It's just a matter of time. So stay until the end so you could see if it's you. And if you want it to be you, just comment often, hit subscribe, and we'll go from there. So let's get this running. This one I always get anytime I get a good deal. So I ended up getting 3 of these. And this is Marvel Spotlight on the Moon Knight, issue 28. This is his solo series. I got these all in pretty decent condition. I mean, these are hard to get in good condition because a lot of times with the yellow background, it tends to show dirt very easily. But this is definitely a book. I mean, if they ever give Moon Knight a TV show, and I think it's just a matter of time, and I think they would give him a TV show before they ever gave him a movie, because I think he would just fit better, because most people don't know who Moon Knight is, so a TV show would put the time it would take to really get to know the character, and I know many people that would love to see him as a TV show, or even in a movie. But I paid $21.20 for this one, $26.24 for that one, and I paid $15 for that one, so as you can see, under $30 for each one. I've seen these go as high as $50 a piece. And another book I will get all day and every day, and this is one I've been telling people to get for a long time. This is probably my 10th copy of this book. This is the Uncanny Inhumans #1. This isn't their first appearance or anything like that. It's just the first issue, and that always will become valuable, especially now that they're going to be getting closer to making the TV show. And the first 2 episodes they are actually putting in IMAX theaters. That's interesting. And they had for the first 2 episodes alone, they had approximately an $80 million budget. Just imagine that for a TV show, $80 million. Must be nice. But this one, it's got a little dirt here, but I mean, this could be dry cleaned and definitely fixed. There is a color break right there. 1 or 2 more. There's a little, looks like an ink stain or something. It'd help if I put it in the camera right there. So this one's probably a 7.0 to 7.5. Little bit on the very tip, there's a little color break bend, which means somebody wasn't careful putting it in the sleeve, but I paid $17.50 for this book. This book averages between $30 and $40, and I am pretty sure if the TV show does well, that is going to get way higher. So you still have a chance to get that pretty cheap if you can. All right, this one I got 2 of. This is the second appearance of the Wasp. So she is going to be getting her own movie soon. So obviously the first appearance is going to be rather expensive. So this is the next best thing. So this is Tales to Astonish issue number 45. So this is her second appearance. These are lower grade, especially this one. I'd probably say this is a 3.0 to a 3.5. This one's probably a 4.0 to a 4.5. But I mean, these can get really expensive. I mean, this one has some writing on it. Some kid decided to draw on it at one point. They wrote, that's either, where is it, Mom or Monday or Mun. So maybe they're from Jamaica, or maybe they loved their mother, or they were trying to figure out what day of the week it was. But you could see it's missing some pieces there. There's some damage on the top. This one, they're attached at the staples, but you can see there's pretty close to hanging on. This almost separated, but there's a lot of breakage along this spine. So it just means, excuse me, it just means they were really loved, and that's fine. This one I paid $35.45. This one I paid $33.40. So, like I wrote here, There's a tear on the back cover. The cover is hanging on, but still attached. So that's one of those, if you ever got it graded, you wouldn't have to worry about it ripping and everything. But that's definitely a book I will not be opening because I don't want to damage it. All right, next up, this is another book. It has potential. This is the first full appearance of Damien Hellstorm and first cameo of Son of Satan. This is Ghost Rider, issue number 2. This one's in really good condition, except for this corner. There's some minor color breaks along the tip, but not major, and also right there. Again, another minor one. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, there's a couple of color breaks along the spine, so I take that back. This is probably a 6.5, but still the cover presents really well. And this is definitely a book that you could get really inexpensive, and who knows what they'll do if they ever get to the point where in the future of Marvel movies or Marvel TV shows, they start going underground and start getting into the deeper levels. I mean, they're already starting in Magic, so who knows? That is a possibility. And the idea is to get these while they're cheap, because if they do a Son of Satan or Damien Hellstorm in an appearance of a show or their own show or in a movie, you know these will skyrocket. So better to get them while they're cheap than to spend a lot more money. And I paid only $11. Now, when I give prices, I also mention that it does include shipping and handling. So that's $11 total. So you could definitely get that under $10, especially if you go to your comic book stores. This also is a 2-part for this. It was also issue number 1, but this one's in really poor condition. You could see, I mean, there's a complete tear right here of the cover. There's tons of color breaks. You could see there's a little bit of a rolled spine, a whole bunch of bends with a break color, a couple little minor color breaks along here. So this book has definitely been read and loved, but it is Ghost Rider number 1, and I didn't pay a lot of money for it, so I thought it was worth the chance. I paid $34.94 with this. So that's usually, in this grade, probably about a $40 book. So I paid a little bit under, but still definitely worth having. All right, next up, Love Me, the Early Avengers. A couple of books that I had that got stolen from me. I used to have Avengers 2, 3, 4, and 8. I got 8 back. I got 2 back. Also, issue 5 I have. That was stolen. I got that one back. 4 is just way too expensive at this point, so I haven't found a decent one yet. And considering I bought Avengers 4 for like $50 back in the 80s, it's kind of hard for me to spend $1,000 on that book, but who knows? But this is Avengers number 10. You can see there is plenty of color fading in this book along the cover. It's all across here and here. It looks like somebody maybe had tape or something sticky on it. There is a line that breaks color all the way through, what they call a subscription crease. Couple of color breaks along the spine. So this is probably a 4.0 at best, maybe a 3.5. You can see right here there's some darkening, which means somebody didn't have it in a proper backing of board. But I paid $19 for this book. So for Avengers number 10, even in this condition, I mean, the staples are perfect and everything, and it's still intact, white, off-white to white pages inside. For under $20, I'll take that any day. That's fine. All right, this is another key issue that I've seen a lot of people talk about. I got this at a decent price. This one could absolutely use a pressing, because you could see this is supposed to be the side of the book, but it's flattened, which means somebody probably laid it down like this and had a whole bunch of books on top of it, so it compressed it. There is a piece of the corner missing right here. It just affects the cover. But this is Green Lantern Green Arrow. This is issue number 85. This is the drug issue. This is definitely a key issue to get if you haven't had it. It's kind of a propaganda machine when it comes to that stuff, but hey, you know, whatever. That's comics for you, especially today. But people pay an average of $80 to $90. I've seen over $100 for this book. You know me, I get good deals. I only paid $39.75 for this book, so I definitely cannot complain about that. All right, next up, this is a book I get all day, every day. This is a book I highly recommend all the time. The prices are absolutely starting to get up there, and they're going to continue to do so, especially once you see, finally, they start putting out the first trailers. I mean, it's still probably at least another year before that happens, but you know there'll be a lot more people climbing on board. This is Miss Marvel issue number 1. This was a book 5 years ago, you could probably find it at a dollar bin, but not anymore. This book averages now about $40 to $50 in like medium grade, like a 7.0. But any chance you can get this for under $40, in my opinion, I think it's worth it. And I paid $39.99, so just under that. So definitely a key book to get. This is one I never had before, and I was glad to get. It's a lower grade, but still for the price I paid, I cannot complain. I saw this going for, at one point, over $100. This is Doctor Strange, issue number 1. Nothing significant other than the fact that it is his own comic, his own first number 1. Obviously, this has cooled down now since the movie has already come out, but he's going to be in the Marvel Universe for the foreseeable future, so this will gain attention once again once they start showing more trailers to his second film or his role in other movies. This is definitely another key book to get. Very expensive at this point, but you can always find deals. This one has a couple of color breaks. You could see there's some dirt along the edge, but that could be dry cleaned. But you could see even with, for example, a minor dog ear right there. They call it a dog ear because it kind of flaps over. A couple of color breaks along here. So this has been loved and read, but it's definitely not a 9.8. I would say this is probably a 5.0. It does have a couple of color breaks along the top. But I paid $14.14. So this is his first solo title and the first appearance of Silver Dagger. Now, I don't know if that will ever be in a TV show or a movie, but still, for that price, under $15, I'll take it. All right, next one is one of those cases that, for most people, if you cannot afford the first appearance, the second appearance is also beneficial. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 135, which is the second appearance of the Punisher. It is also the origin of Tarantula. Now, this has a Marvel value stamp, so make sure if you get this book, make sure they mention, or if they don't, make sure you ask them if it does have the Marvel stamp intact. Because a lot of these get cut out, and it actually, if you ever get it graded, it's going to come back with a green label as qualified. So make sure you ask about that. But this one does have it. I did check. And definitely a book that's very affordable. And I'm so looking forward to the Punisher TV show. I can't wait. It can't come out fast enough. I have a feeling that's going to be another great show on Netflix. But if you can't afford Amazing Spider-Man number 129, this is the next best thing. So this is his second appearance. You can see the colors faded a little bit. But other than that, it's not a bad book. There is a minor little indent along here, which means people, again, put the books all together, all facing one way, and because this side with the staples is a little thicker, it's going to make a little bit of an impression here. That could get pressed out. But overall, looks pretty darn good. Paid $21.95. I see this book all the time for $50. So that's a really good deal. So it shows that deals can be made. All right, so we got 3 books left. These are all pretty decent Bronze Age keys. This one I'm sure you'll know about. This is Daredevil, issue number 131. This is like my 3rd or 4th copy. This is the first appearance of Bullseye. Now, one of the things I want to mention, especially in this book, there are a lot of times that this edge ends up trimmed. And the way you could tell is, if you look at this, you could see the person's head completely showing. When they trim this, if you see it touching the forehead of this character, that's most likely this book has been trimmed. I've heard that a lot of times. Now, this one has a couple of little spots here. There's a little dirt. There's a color break right there. A few minor color breaks along the spine, so I would probably say 6.5 to a 7.0 at best. But definitely a key issue, and there are rumors that Bullseye might appear in Season 3. Now, that's might. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, or even if they thought about it, that doesn't change. But if he does, you know this is going to be a much more sought-after book, so definitely one to acquire if you could get your hands on it. A lot of times you'll see this book between $85 and $100. I paid $51.50. So I like getting me some deals. All right. 2 more to go. This is a book that I tend to get all the time. I probably overpaid a little bit for this one, but for the condition. This is like my 5th or 6th copy of this book. But this is Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, issue number 1. This is the first appearance of Luke Cage. You could see this book, I mean, right here, I could show that it's got a spine roll. It's, as you could see along here, see how it's getting thinner as you go, which means that it was not placed properly or somebody kind of folded it a lot. You could see there's massive color breaks. So this is probably a 3.0 at best, but the overall, the cover presents pretty well. There are some stains on the back. So like I said, I probably paid a little bit too much. This is one of those books that I put a higher price and I was hoping I didn't win, and I ended up winning. But I paid $92.12. I mean, this still, I could probably easily, if I wanted to sell it, I mean, I could get that money back easily, especially when the Defenders TV show comes out. But this is one of those that I kind of regret for the price I paid. I'm used to getting a little bit better deals. All right, last but not least, this is probably my 5th or 6th copy. These are getting expensive. It's dying down a little bit because he was on the TV show for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I liked how they portrayed him in the TV show. I want to see more, and I hope they will give more. But this is Marvel Spotlight issue number 5, which is the first appearance of Ghost Rider. And definitely a book to acquire if you can. I've seen this book, even in mid-grade, go for at least $200. So I paid a little bit under the value of this book. But you could see there's a couple of color breaks in the corner on the edge. For a black cover, it presents fairly well. There are some color breaks along the spine. So a little bit of fading, and you can see right here in the corner. So I would say this is probably a 5.0. I paid $162.18 for that book. So that's like my 5th or 6th copy of this. So the good thing about getting multiple copies is if I have to sell one to get some cash, I still have the book, so it doesn't affect me. And if anybody wants to do a trade, again, I still have the book. So that's it. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to wait until the end so you could see who got the shout-out for the day. If you want to get a shout-out, again, just make sure that you subscribe and you comment often, because the more you participate, the more I want to thank those people who do. And if you haven't hit subscribe, please do, and let's hear your comments. So thanks for watching. I look forward to more videos coming. If you have any suggestions, please leave it in the comment section. And I've been able to get myself back on track a little bit. We have the water heater being installed. They finally had a chance to be able to do it starting next Thursday. So we'll finally get that out of the way. But I actually was able to get a couple of books, so they're on their way. I'm not going to be fully on to my regularly scheduled program yet, but something's always better than nothing, so I try and look at it from the positive point of view. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. And don't forget, it's not you, it's not I, it's We Love Comics. I'll see you next video. Oh, that Ghost Rider, he sure is a hothead. Oh.